Around the Rec, here we go. Good morning, everybody. Steve Masters, the CEO of the Parks and Rec. And this morning we're joined by James Hopkins, the disc golf course designer. Good morning, gentlemen, to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us. And I hear so much conversation about this disc golf course. And James, I'll start with you this morning. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's the first disc golf course really in this area. What we did, I mean, the land out there is incredible. It's an incredible piece of property. We designed a 18-hole disc golf course. It's got 2 tee pads per hole, so you got 2 different levels of difficulty. We also have a 5-hole beginner loop.
Now, how do you play it?
So it's a lot like traditional golf.
Okay.
It scores the same way. There is a basket, which is a catching device, which you replaces kind of the hole, which is what you use for golf. And then there's all kinds of different discs. So there's drivers, mid ranges, putters. They all have a sharper or a blunter edge depending on the range you want to throw it.
Wow. You know, that 5-hole beginner's course, that would be me.
Yeah.
That's me as well, sir.
Well, I wanted to put the 5-hole beginner loop in there because it's the first thing in this area, and it's something that anybody can go out there and walk and play. It's kind of in the open, grassy area. But,
Now, you have actually designed this, correct?
I did, yes.
Is this the first one you've done, or?
This is the first solo project I've been on.
Okay.
First solo design. I've designed a course up in Greensboro, North Carolina, with a friend of mine, and then I've designed several temp courses, temporary layout.
So are there a lot of these in our country, in the Southeast?
It's one of the fastest growing. That and pickleball are the 2 fastest growing sports at the moment.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, how can people know? For people who don't know anything about Lake Howard, it's a beautiful facility. It's a beautiful course and beautiful park. But tell us a little bit more about, and I'll throw this question to you, Steve, a little bit more about Lake Howard.
Well, Lake Howard, we love to call it our hidden gem out there. It's been around as long as I can remember. We maintain that park, but it's a partnership between the city of Sylacauga and the Utilities Board. It is a watershed where we, can get water supply for our city. But when Billy Bean, kind of came into the picture with us, we wouldn't have a mountain bike trail and hiking trail if it wasn't for Billy Bean and Perry Clark and people like that who went to these guys and said, hey, we want this not only to be a fishing lake, but, have some outdoor recreation there. So I guess 15 years ago, we started on our mountain biking trail, and it's 15 miles. It's beautiful. There's several different options that you can take. I got a 5K that I go walk out there all the time, but I went out Saturday morning and did, just added one little loop and did 4.5 miles just walking. Or you can go out there on a bike and hit the gravel roads, Wiregrass Road in the National Forest, and you can go all the way to Cheehaw Mountain. We have people all the time, doing the hiking or the biking. We host several big events, as far as the biking world. We got a 50K race, we got a 100-mile race, and then we have an ultra marathon where people actually start in Heflin and run and finish all the way to our course, and that's every year in November. So it's a hidden gem to Sylacauga, but when I tell you that the outdoor industry people, the hikers, the mountain bike, and now the disc golf people know where Lake Howard is, every time I go there, there's tags from all over the place. And, not just that, but if you are local, we have canoes that you can go out there and hop on and ride around. We got kayaks.
Getting close to that time of the year, too.
Getting close to that time of year. And the fishing, we actually have fish studies done. Mitch with the Utilities Board had the state to come in and do a fish study, and they told us that we needed to add a few things. So we add fish periodically, and we now have fish feeders on the lake. So when I tell you it's a complete outdoor park, I mean, you could be fishing, hiking, biking, Now disc golf, we have pavilions out there, and I mean, it's just a little slice of heaven out there.
All right, James, let's talk more about the disc golf course. It's 18 holes, and so, but you bring your own disc, right? Tell us more about that.
You do bring your own discs. It's free to play. You really only need one, 2, or 3 discs to get started.
Where do you get them?
You can get them online. There's all kinds of different stores. There's a Dynamic Discs Iron City, which is off of
So you just
Oxmoor.
can't walk into Walmart and get those, right?
Not in this region.
Yeah, okay.
I think Walmart, they're in like California.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you can go to Dick's Sporting Goods Academy, get them offline.
Now, just like the golf course, I guess, you can play anytime just about during daylight hours, right?
Yeah, the park is open Tuesday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to right at dark. So
Well, what's the cost to play?
it's free to play. So.
Oh, wow. That's always an ear catcher.
It's awesome. You know, all this came about where James and Billy's always been friends. Billy knew a little bit about disc golf, and they came to me and they were like, hey, we want to build a disc golf course. And I'm always the guy who says, why not? You know, let's make this happen. We went to the utilities board. We have a Lake Howard Authority, which is half utilities board and half city council members and things like that, and they said go for it. They gave us $40,000. We took, I don't know how many acres total that is over there. You've stomped
wanna
every
say
square
it's
inch of
probably-
it.
Man, I've spent countless hours out there just walking the property.
How long, James, how long did it take to build this?
We started, let's see, the first pitch at the Lake Howard Association was January of 23. And then I think we broke ground on it in April, I believe.
We broke ground in April. We used local contractors and they mulched. So but mostly James, I just tied the little ribbon where he told me to tie it.
Yeah.
And went out and laid the course out with the flags, you know, on which keep this tree, get rid of this tree. We used a local contractor, Mintz Machine, went out and did all the mulching. He did an amazing job and actually came back after we got it laid out and touched some things up for us. I think he mentioned there's 32 tee boxes, and it's the furthest tee box from where we had to stack everything was quite a piece for, you know, in the middle of the woods. So each one of these tee boxes has 20 big old capstones that goes, we had to put on tractors and carry all the way out there and make sure the tee box was level. And there's about 4 yards of crush and run, maybe a little more on each tee box. So we had to flatten the area. We put the capstones around the side. We put the crush and run in the middle, and then we packed it down. And that's every tee box out there. And James, his design's incredible. You can do the 5-hole beginner loop. You can do 9 holes, or you can do 18 and spend all day. I've walked the whole thing before we actually got all the baskets in the ground. So a little over 2.5, little under 2.5 miles. When you play 18 holes out there, the views are spectacular. It's challenging. I mean, when you tell me throw a Frisbee, doesn't sound real challenging, right? But the elevation out there is substantial. You know, there's a lot of elevation change, and you know, where he put some of these holes in tee boxes, you got to curve a shot just like you do in golf, and there's some you got to throw really straight and long, you know, just like you do in golf. And
So do y'all
it's a lot of fun.
Y'all foresee tournaments and stuff spin off of this?
Absolutely, and that's Mr. Hopkins' baby over here. So
Yeah, so with our grand opening that was on February 9th, we hosted a flex start tournament, which is anybody can walk up and play the you know 1-round tournament. But on May 4th, I'm actually hosting a 2-round disc golf tournament, which is going to be, you know, a shotgun start, which is like the term for the start of it. Like you'll have everybody starts at the same time
Right.
on different holes, and we'll do 2 rounds for that.
So on an average time frame, how long does it take to play 18 holes?
On this course, if you're playing, let's say the red pads, which is a shorter layout on the 18 hole, you're probably spending 2 to 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So it could be a Wednesday afternoon deal, right?
It's much like golf. Now, I go out, it's on my way home. That's how much I love Lake Howard is, I'm a mile and a half down the road. And I went out there to meet Billy one evening when it first opened. And I'm more the exercise, getting my step in guy. I'm not really worried about my score. And I played the first 9 holes in 37 minutes. So,
Wow.
you
Burnt the course up, man.
it's good exercise. I mean, I've always enjoyed going out there and walking the trail, but if you need something to keep your mind, entertained while you're out there trying to get some steps in, it's incredible.
So I'm kind of wrapping my mind around this a little bit about coming to the course, and what if I need to go to the restroom? What if I need a water or a soft drink or something like that? How does that work?
Well, as you know, Billy Bean is our guy. He's out there every day that it's open. Jim Armstrong and Billy got together and they built some beautiful restrooms. I guess that's 5 or 6 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
So we got good parking now. We got restrooms. We've got Wi-Fi out there if you need it. If you wanted to get out of the office and carry your computer and go get some stuff done. And Billy's got a little pro shop there. He sells a little bit of live bait. He works on bicycles and stuff like that. And we do have soft drinks and things like that.
So James, how do you try to, this is very, very new to our area. How do you try to jumpstart this?
Well, with the help of the disc golf community, I'm actually a board member for Disc Golf Birmingham, and this is actually the 25th year that Disc Golf Birmingham has been a club.
And to be honest with you, before this came to Sylacauga, I'd never heard of it. So I guess I lead a sheltered life, but still I'd never heard of it.
Well, it's not really a mainstream sport, but it's still up and coming. It's kind of a niche, kind of specialty kind of sport at the moment. But there's all kinds of different tournaments. The Professional Disc Golf Association sanctions anywhere from 100 to 150 tournaments worldwide every weekend.
Wow.
So there's tournaments everywhere. And it's getting more and more tournaments every year.
How can they find out more information on this?
So you can go to pdga.com. That's the governing body of the sport, as well as UDisc. They have an app that you can actually find all the layouts for Lake Howard on the app.
Yeah, a lot of people watch from other parts of the state of Alabama. Daybreak, and they probably more familiar with it than even our local people are. And so it'd be good. We get a lot of out-of-town folks, I guess, don't we?
We do. Every time I go out there, there's tags from Georgia, Tennessee, anywhere in Alabama. Like I said, we have local folks who's never attended Lake Howard, but in the outdoor community, and that's kind of why we brought disc golf in, is like the mountain bikers, the hikers, these are the people who play disc golf. It's kind of a cross niche of people, and you can go out there and just pick your poison that day. You can ride your bike to get some exercise in, you can walk the trail, you can run the trail, you can play disc golf, you can kayak. So all that's kind of the same niche community that he was talking about. And I'm super excited about it. Like I said, I had never played disc golf before. I've seen it. When I go to other park and recreations, Opelika's got 2 or 3 up there. And often wondered about it, but once I was glad to be a part of getting to help build this thing and see the layout, and now that we have it out there and walk around it, like it is really, really cool.
James, do you see this getting into our schools at some point?
Absolutely. There's a couple different schools up towards Birmingham. Trustwell, I think, is one that they've had a disc golf team in the past. I don't know if they have one currently, but I would like to see it. Sylacauga as well as BB Comer, maybe Winterboro, create maybe a disc golf team.
You got Fayetteville down there,
compete.
and that's fantastic. Steve, before we go this morning, let's talk a little bit more let's broaden the spectrum with more Parks and Rec conversation this morning. A lot of people still talking about our swimming pool. Where are we at on that?
I'm glad you asked. You know, it's been a conversation. I feel like we've been talking to architects now for 2 or 3 years. This coming Tuesday, the architects, William Blackstock and Difference Architecture, is supposed to make a presentation to the council about some drawings, some, you know, not full drawings where we're to the point of where the plugs go yet, but, you know, just some overall drawings of size, location. We've got a location picked out, and how the layout of the property is. And from what I understand, the only thing we're waiting on really before they send that information to me to go over is the cost estimates. So next Tuesday at the city council meeting, there's supposed to be a full meeting that kind of gets everybody caught up on what the conversation's been for the last hour and a half.
Is this pool usage that we have now, is that a dead topic?
You talking about the old swimming pool? We're going to discuss that as well. The first thing that we did was brought in this national company and said, hey, can we fix this swimming pool? And I mean, it's just like a dilapidated house or an antique Bronco like I got. Anything can be fixed. But at what point are you spending so much to fix something to bring it back to 1989 where you could spend the exact same amount of money and have something that's 2024? So that's a decision that we're going to have to make.
We're on the clock. We've been without a pool now for 3 or 4 years.
No doubt.
And if you build the new one like is going to be presented, that's another 2 to 3 years down the road.
Sure, and that's a conversation that we had. I mean, I don't know, and we're going to discuss this, but you know, to get you introduced to the information, even if we fixed our old swimming pool, due to today's standards, you know, our old swimming pool where the swim team was only 4 foot deep. That's not regulation. There's literally a sign next to a diving block for the swim team that says no diving. So even if we restored the current swimming pool that we have back to its original capabilities, we couldn't host swim meets at that pool.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're going to go over all of these things. Yeah. The time frame on fixing the old pool was still 18 to 20 months because you're talking completely dig up, fix the plumbing and everything else. So I know that yes, we've been without it forever. I mean, me and my buddy Dan swim 5 days a week when it was open. We swim before the pool was open to the public and after the pool had closed. So nobody misses a swimming pool as much as I do. But if we're going to spend this amount of taxpayers' dollars, let's do it right. You know, let's do something that's long-term, something sustainable, something that's a 12-month pool where we can do swim lessons, we can do water therapy, we can do adult swim. And obviously, we want to bring our swim team back and get these kids another sport, a lifelong sport where they can stay active for the rest of their lives. And, you know, I guess the most important thing that we'll ever do with the body of water that we control is teach all these kids how to swim. Yeah. So, you know, it's just something that, a skill that they carry on with them where they don't have to be afraid of water.
Yeah. Right quickly before we go, it was a big event. I think it's Friday night down at the rec. Is it a family night or is that, did I miss that or is it a
I think you missed that.
Okay.
You know, we've had to move some things around.
Okay.
We had an Easter egg hunt that was supposed to be last week. We've had to move those to the end of the week. I think it's 23rd and 24th, whatever that Friday and Saturday is. We got our first Food Truck Friday coming up in the 1st of April. We kind of coordinated with the Marble Festival to get people out in the park that day.
That's cool.
We hadn't mentioned sports yet, but record numbers for Hunter Kane this year, 545 kids playing our USSSA baseball this year. So
that's amazing.
It's the most teams we've ever had. Chris is out spraying the parks and re-landscaping things. We're finally redoing South Highland Park, the utilities board's out there. We got disc golf opening over here. So I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle, just kind of sitting in a chair spinning around, but our staff's absolutely killing it. And before we leave, I want to recognize Miss Sherry Vickers. You know Miss Sherry for a lot of years.
Yeah.
She's been with us for 23 years. She is retiring at the end of this month.
Man.
So she's a legend at Sylacauga Parks and Recreation. She actually helped design our senior building over there, and obviously she's managed it. She runs our nutrition program that feeds 94 people a day. So huge hole at Sylacauga Parks and Rec, but we knew this was coming. We actually made a hire last week. We got a young lady who's local. She's got some experience with nursing homes, been the senior activity director, and we look forward to what she's
Can
going
you
to bring to
mention that
us.
name?
Yeah, absolutely. Her name's Lakeisha Maxwell.
Okay.
She's a graduate here locally, and she's been working at Goodwater Nursing Home as the senior activity director. And we had 40 applications for this job.
Goodness gracious.
We interviewed 10 people. We narrowed it down to 3, and all great candidates. We couldn't have went wrong with any of those decisions. But when she walked in and she started talking about the things that she already knows about, the things that she's already doing, and she's doing this with nursing home patients who obviously are not, can't get out and about. So super excited to see what she can do when she has active seniors who can actually travel to our facility. And, we're always looking to see what's next at Park and Rec, and we're excited about her.
James, right before we say goodbye this morning, tell the people how they can find out more about the disc golf course.
udisc.com, they have an app. You can also go to the Sylacauga Disc Golf on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, as well as the Rec Facebook page as well.
All right, let's continue to grow it. Thank you both for coming. James Hopkins, the disc golf course designer at Lake Howard, and of course Steve Masters, CEO of the Parks and Rec. Thank you both for coming this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, got more Daybreak just ahead. Don't go away.